So after much waiting, my components for my crossover finally showed up. Put the thing together, and I got a chance to give it a listen. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the video, but it does sound really nice. I'm quite actually pleasantly surprised with how this first build ever turned out, considering I started this knowing absolutely nothing. Now, is it the perfect speaker? It definitely is not the perfect speaker. There's a couple of things I would like for it to be a little bit different. I find it, I'm not sure exactly what frequency, but there's some bass somewhere lacking. It's not in the really low end necessarily, but somewhere in, I don't know. If I knew more about the frequency or the hertz of where these sounds were that I can hear, I could articulate maybe a little bit better. So anyway, let's take a look at what this crossover looks like. I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of how I just slapped this thing together, placed it on the floor. Oh, I did forget to mention at the start of the video. So this is the part that I wanted to test to see if this lower end of the crossover actually made a difference. And it does make a difference, but it's at a sacrifice, because you can see the cap in this thing. It's not a high quality capacitor. It's, what do they call them? Electrolytic caps, I think. But it diminishes the sound quality in the rest, so it's not worth the sacrifice to get that little more, I don't know, we'll call it sharper bass, a little bit more punchy. It's definitely not worth it to put that in there. So I ended up taking that out of the circuit completely, and that seems to be a better solution. But yeah, there's the crossover, and what I'll do is I'll pull up an audio track, and then we'll go through a couple of different sounds of the bulk audio speaker, the home built, and then maybe a little bit of both, and then I'll kind of talk about that. Anyway, let's give it a listen. Let's check it out. All right, I'm going to set this thing up here. It's a little bit further back. It's about 2 meters, and I think that'll maybe give us a better audio recording than the last time I kind of had to set this thing up. Anyway, it's playing now. Both the Polk audio and the new speaker are on. If you look down at the LEDs there, the one on the left is the Polk audio. The one on the right is the speaker that's home built. So I'll flip through a couple of different settings. I'll turn up the volume, and we'll just leave the track playing, and you guys can kind of see what's going on. Hopefully the LEDs show up nice in the video. Oh, and I'll turn off the subwoofer as well. That's the Polk. Sounds tight. Together, which to me sounds best. So here's my interpretation of the audio. I kind of told you about the mid bass. Clarity on the tweeter that's in the home built tower sounds way better. There's stuff I'm hearing in music that I don't hear with the Polks. So quality of components definitely is higher in the one I put together. It's missing a little bit of throatiness on the bass. I don't know how better to describe it than that. But there's no lack of bass. It's very clean. It sounds good, but it is missing a little something. I just can't quite put my finger on what it's missing. That being said, so was the Polk. The Polk actually sounds quite muddy and distorted when I compare the two together. So what I've noticed is actually I'm really liking, if I'm playing music now, I'm having both of them on, and the sound stage that sets, I'm actually really enjoying that. So I've definitely learned something. I guess one of the things I would probably do is I would get something that's got a little bit of a lower hertz that moves a little bit more air for the really low frequencies, like the 20 hertz to like the 100 hertz range, and then leave the driver that I've got there right now, the white, whatever it is, 8-inch, 8, maybe 10, I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. Leave that driver for like the mids to the highs, because it does a really good job of filling into where the tweeter picks it up. So that is really nice, but the bass section of this setup I would like to do differently. I don't know, a lot of blabbing. Anyway, the other thing that I want to do now is, because I've got this thing set up, like you can't see it in the video here on the side, I've got an Omni mic. I want to set that thing up, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the next video. I'm going to set up in the Omni mic, and I'm going to attempt to get some good sound measurements on this, and I'll show you guys the graphs of that when I do that video. That'll come up on either side here when I've got that finished. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I think I'm making progress at making a better speaker. Just some more learning is involved, as usual.